everyone, I'm Ananya and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I want to talk about something a little different, something that you wouldn't have thought about as an Indian student going to study abroad. This is something that affects a lot of students in general, but Indian international students in particular. If you're going to study abroad in any country around the world, be it the UK, US, Canada, Australia, England, Europe, wherever you're going to study, it is going to affect you in some way or the other. What am I talking about? I am talking about peer pressure. When we usually think of peer pressure, what do we think about? We think of a 12 or 13-year-old kid who is being bullied in school. But that's not true. Adults actually do face peer pressure as well. And that is a lot when you go to study abroad on campus, because you're faced with different situations, completely new situations that you have never been in before. So for you to understand the situation, understand the people, come up with the cultural context, and then actually develop a response is something that we're not taught. We are not taught to deal with peer pressure, and it's not something that anyone speaks about or tells us about when we go to study abroad. In this video, I'm going to be using peer influence a lot. How do people influence you in a positive way or a negative way? Peer pressure is something that is very, very common, and the bad part is it can really affect every part of your life. It can affect your grades, it can affect your reputation on campus, it can affect the friendships that you make, it can affect the rest of your college life as well as your life in the future. So for you as an Indian student studying abroad, understanding what is peer pressure, understanding the types of peer pressure, and then finding ways to maintain a balance and coping with the peer pressure that you will obviously automatically be facing as a student is very important to do. College is an environment where you are going to meet new people all the time. There is not an established status quo already. So that already means that you're going to be establishing new boundaries, making new friends, and figuring things out on your own for the very first time. Now, as an Indian student who's going to study abroad for the first time, this is going to affect you doubly. Why am I saying this? Is because the local students who are already on campus, yes, they will also face peer pressure, but they don't face it in the same way that you do as an Indian student. For you, you are assimilating yourself into a new culture. You're assimilating yourself with people you've never met before in a country you've probably never been to before. So for you, that pressure feels more acute and it's more stressful and more painful. It's not just the normal that your friends are saying something. They aren't even your friends. You don't know these people. You don't know the right from wrong. The basic thing that you need to understand is the balance. The balance between actually giving up a little bit of who you are to become a new person, to grow, to learn on campus. This is the first time that you're probably leaving India. This is the first time you're going to meet new people. And that situation where you're trying to make new friends, trying to assimilate in a new culture, let go of what you were as a person in India, trying to learn, trying to grow, trying to understand a new environment completely, that's when peer pressure hits you the most. Now, what is actually peer pressure on campus? Peer pressure can come in many different ways. There is actually positive and negative peer pressure. Positive peer pressure means you are part of a group that is positively influencing your behavior. What do I mean by this? Positive peer pressure means you are part of a group, a society, or a club that is positively impacting your behavior and making you do good and healthy things that will actually affect you in a good way. That means A, you could be part of a study group that actually helps you learn and helps you understand concepts and helps you in your studies and give exams. Second, you could be part of a sports club, for example, where they are encouraging you to have healthy behaviors and healthy habits. People who are part of your team could positively pressurize you into developing good, healthy eating and drinking habits. You could abstain from alcohol completely. You could have a very healthy diet. Those are forms of positive peer pressure and positive influence on you as a person. Negative peer pressure also happens a lot of the time, and it can happen directly, which means someone is directly telling you to do something which you do not want to do. And secondly, it could be indirect as well, which is very subtle, which is you are taking cues from your group because you want to feel part of their group, because you want to feel part of that society or that club. You end up doing things you do not want to do. Now, there are many different ways that peer pressure takes place. This could be simple things like you trying to dress like someone else, talk like someone else, behave like someone else, or it could get into a little more serious ways of you drinking alcohol, for example, when you don't want to, you smoking when you do not want to, you end up stealing something that you do not want to, you end up cheating on an exam that you do not want to. When you're on campus, you're going to be going to different parties, you're going to be socializing with different people, you're meeting all of these people for the very first time. So for you, the experience is exciting, it's new, it's positive, there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of good things happening on campus, you're really enjoying your course, your classes, all of those things are happening. But at the same time, you are also meeting people that you have never met before. There is no comfort level, there is no ground, there is no background to them. You do not know them at all. And in these sort of situations is where substance abuse and negative peer pressure and negative influence on you can actually take place. You need to maintain some sort of balance to help you cope. Now, there are many different ways to actually coping with the stress and the anxiety that comes with this sort of pressure. A lot of the pressure is subtle, so you won't really realize it as, oh, I'm facing peer pressure. You will say, no, this is my decision, but actually it isn't. How to be yourself and fit in is something that you're going to be oscillating between. These are the two choices that you have, and it will affect you in many different ways. So here are my 5 tips for how to cope with peer pressure if you're an Indian international student studying abroad. Tip number 1 is planning ahead. You know now, especially because of this video, that you might be in situations that you are not comfortable with. If you plan ahead, you will try to understand what type of response you might be able to give in those sort of situations. For example, what will you do if someone offers you a cigarette right now when you're a non-smoker? Now you will say, of course I'm going to say no. But are you going to say no? How is it going to happen? What will you say in all of those different situations? That is what I mean by planning ahead. Think of how you can respond to your friends. Think of how you will respond to people who are trying to pressurize you in some way to do something that you do not want to do. The second thing is understanding yourself. Be confident in who you are. Know yourself. Know who you are as a person. What are you willing to try? What are you not willing to try? There are lots of situations where you might really actually want to try something. For example, if they say, oh, let's all jump into the pool together. Now, you might not be very confident in swimming, but it's something that you might want to try. That is okay to do if you are comfortable with it. So know in what type of situations you are comfortable and what type of situations you are definitely not comfortable, at least for now. Now you as a person, what are you okay doing, what are you not okay doing? Know yourself and understand yourself by asking yourself these questions and figuring it out. The third thing is understanding how you feel, paying attention to how you are actually feeling in that particular situation. A lot of times we do have a gut and instinct that tells us no, and we don't end up listening to it, and then there are very, very negative consequences or risks we end up taking that we don't really want to take at all, and we end up doing only because we want to be part of a group, or a friend told us to do, or this new person said it will be really cool to do, but we didn't know and we didn't understand, and that ends up being our excuse for saying, oh, I didn't know, I didn't understand. But definitely pay attention to how you are feeling in certain situations. Pay attention to how you're feeling, pay attention to how you're thinking about that particular issue or concern. And if you have a concern, voice it. That is tip number 4. Learn to communicate your negative responses, which means learn to communicate how to say no. How do you say no is what is going to get you out of a situation and get you out of something that you really do not want to do. What can you do to get yourself out of the situation that you find yourself in when you're uncomfortable? It isn't always easy to just say, no, I don't want to do this and walk out. I know that I've been in those situations as well. So come up with explanations, come up with reasons, come up with excuses so that you know, okay, this is an easy way to get out of this. No matter how cool and awesome and great they make it seem, if you're not comfortable, don't do it. Tip number 5 is really, really important. Please reach out to an adult. Yes, you're already an adult as an 18 or 19-year-old on campus, but reach out to someone who is older. If you feel uneasy about something, if you're not okay doing something on campus, if you feel something is wrong, speaking to someone really, really helps. Have a person that you really trust and can communicate with directly. If you want out of a situation, You need to be able to rely on this person to tell you what to do over text or a call, or in some cases physically come and get you out of that situation. This happens to adults in offices, in life, so it doesn't matter what age you are at. Have someone that you trust and you can speak to, preferably someone who's older to you, who can actually control this situation, who can actually help you get out of some situation that you've gotten yourself into. This could be your parent, this could be an adult on campus, your mentor, your coach, your counselor, your therapist, your guide, your advisor, your parent, your classmate, whoever it is, whoever you want to assign to for this role. Please get someone who will listen to you and who you can speak to openly about all of these situations, be it cheating, drugs, sex, alcohol, anything. You might be actually feeling really anxious and stressed out. You might not sleep properly, you may not eat properly, you might even develop social anxiety, so you might have antisocial behaviors and habits that slowly develop over time because you feel that all of the new friends you seem to make are making you do things that you don't want to do. You might get inside your shell, and that is something that is not conducive for you, and that's something you want to avoid. You actually do want to get out there, make friends, and build a life and career for yourself. So identifying that you're going through this pressure or going through this negative influence is something that you can only do if you know how you're feeling, you know who you are, and you have someone to talk to about all of these things. I'm a student life coach, and if you have any of these issues as an Indian international student on campus, be it loneliness, homesickness, peer pressure, trying to deal with substances, or you've actually faced substance abuse in some way, or you want to talk about your relationships, whether it be friendships or partners or with your parents itself, whatever issues that you are facing on campus, please reach out to me at www.ananyamadhavan.com. You can also follow me and DM me on Instagram at ananya.madhavan. If you have any comments and questions, please leave them in the comment box below, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel for more videos on studying abroad. I really hope you like this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.